There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself. Nothing that is of no use. If you wish to control others, you must first control yourself. You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. You can only fight the way you practice. Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men. To win any battle, you must fight as if you are already dead. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. It may seem difficult at first, but everything is difficult at first. The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. No fear, no hesitation, no surprise, no doubt. It is difficult to understand the universe if you only study one planet. All men are the same except for their belief in their own selves, regardless of what others may think of them. Truth is not what you want it to be. It is what it is, and you must bend to its power or live a lie. If you do not control the enemy will control you. In battle, if you make your opponent flinch, you have already won. The true science of martial arts means practicing them in such a way that they will be useful at any time, and to teach them in such a way that they will be useful in all things. Respect the gods without relying on their help. The purpose of today's training is to defeat yesterday's understanding. Do not waste time idling or thinking after you have set your goals. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. Be neither insufficiently spirited nor over-spirited. An elevated spirit is weak, and a low spirit is weak. Do not let the enemy see your spirit. Fixation is the way to death. Fluidity is the way to life. Never stray from the way. Do not regret what you have done. The only reason a warrior is alive is to fight, and the only reason a warrior fights is to win. Accept everything just the way it is. Know your enemy, know his sword. In large-scale strategy, it is beneficial to strike at the corners of the enemy's force. If the corners are overthrown, the spirit of the whole body will be overthrown. True warriors are fierce because their training is fierce. Determine that today you will overcome yourself of the day before. Tomorrow you will win over those of lesser skill, and later you will win over those of greater skill. The path that leads to truth is littered with the bodies of the ignorant. A man cannot understand the art he is studying if he only looks for the end result without taking the time to delve deeply into the reasoning of the study. Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. Generally speaking, the way of the warrior is resolute acceptance of death. Develop intuitive judgment and understanding for everything. As far as I'm concerned, I regret nothing. Whatever your determination or willpower, it is foolish to try to change the nature of things. Things work the way they do because that is the way of things. You win battles by knowing the enemy's timing, and using a timing which the enemy does not expect. In time, all things work to your advantage when you pursue them with an open heart. Unless you really understand others, you can hardly attain your own self-understanding. There is timing in everything. Timing in strategy cannot be mastered without a great deal of practice. In strategy, your spiritual bearing must not be any different from normal. Both in fighting and in everyday life, you should be determined though calm. Meet the situation without tenseness, yet not recklessly, your spirit settled yet unbiased. See to it that you temper yourself with 1,000 days of practice and refine yourself with 10,000 days of training. It is imperative to master the principles of the art of war and learn to be unmoved in mind, even in the heat of the battle. Do not sleep under a roof. Carry no money or food. Go alone to places frightening to the common brand of men. Become a criminal of purpose. Be put in jail and extricate yourself by your own wisdom. Perception is strong and sight weak. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close and to take a distanced view of close things. Water adopts the shape of its receptacle. It is sometimes a trickle and sometimes a wild sea. Your wisdom. Learn public justice. Distinguish between good and evil. Study the ways of different arts one by one. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. In all forms of strategy, it is necessary to maintain the combat stance in everyday life and to make your everyday stance your combat stance. Approach the enemy with the attitude of defeating him without delay. Exist for the good of man. When in a fight to the death, one wants to employ all one's weapons to the utmost. I must say that to die with one's sword still sheathed is most regrettable. You should not have a favorite weapon. To become overfamiliar with one weapon is as much a fault as not knowing it sufficiently well. One must make the warrior walk his everyday walk. It is said the warrior's is the twofold way of pen and sword, and he should have a taste for both ways. Even if a man has no natural ability, he can be a warrior by sticking assiduously to both divisions of the way. Do not let the body be dragged along by mind, nor the mind be dragged along by the body. Immature strategy is the cause of grief. No man is invincible, and therefore no man can fully understand that which would make him invincible. If you do not look at things on a large scale, it will be difficult to master strategy. If the enemy stays spirited, it is difficult to crush him. Do not act following customary beliefs. If you want to learn the craft of war, ponder over this book. The teacher is as a needle, the disciple is as thread. You must practice constantly. Crossing at a ford occurs often in a man's lifetime. It means setting sail, even though your friends stay in harbor, knowing the route, knowing the soundness of your ship, and the favor of the day. And speed is not part of the true way of strategy. Speed implies that things seem fast or slow, according to whether or not they are in rhythm. Whatever the way, the master of strategy does not appear fast. Fixed formation is bad. Study this well. Pay attention even to life's trifles. When you have attained the way of strategy, there will be nothing that you cannot understand. You will see the way in every. When the enemy starts to collapse, you must pursue him without the chance of letting go. If you fail to take advantage of your enemy's collapse, they may recover. To become the enemy, see yourself as the enemy of the enemy. In the void is virtue and no evil. Wisdom has existence, principle has existence, the way has existence, spirit is nothingness. Do not let your opponent see your spirit. People in this world look at things mistakenly and think that what they do not understand must be the void. This is not the true void, it is bewilderment. With your spirit open and unconstricted, look at things from a high point of view. When you cannot be deceived by men, you will have realized the wisdom of strategy. When you sacrifice your life, you must make fullest use of your weaponry. It is false not to do so and to die with a weapon as yet undrawn. If you learn indoor techniques, you will think narrowly and forget the true way. Thus you will have difficulty in actual encounters. By knowing things that exist, you can know that which does not exist. All things entail rising and falling timing. You must be able to discern this, if there is a way involving the spirit of not being defeated. To help oneself and gain honor, it is the way of strategy. The spirit of defeating a man is the same for 10 million men. The strategist makes small things into big things, like building a great Buddha from a 1-foot model. The way of the warrior does not include other ways, such as Confucianism, Buddhism, certain traditions, artistic accomplishments, and dancing. But even though these are not part of the way, if you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. When you attack the enemy, your spirit must go to the extent of pulling the stakes out of a wall and using them as spears and halberds. To cut and slash are two different things. Cutting, whatever form of cutting it is decisive, with a resolute spirit. Slashing is nothing more than touching the enemy. There are many ways of understanding simple things, but generally the opposite is true for difficult ideas.
Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi, a legendary Japanese swordsman and philosopher, is best known for his classic work, The Book of Five Rings. In this treatise on strategy and martial arts, Musashi distills his wisdom gained from a lifetime of duels and experiences. One of his most famous quotes is, "The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them." This statement reflects Musashi's emphasis on mastering oneself and achieving a state of harmonious existence where conflict becomes unnecessary. The Book of Five Rings continues to inspire not only martial artists but also individuals seeking insights into strategy, discipline, and the Art of Living.